What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy here, Wesley from A Connection TV here on YouTube and watch actv.com, the two places on the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And welcome to my platform. I am about to review Queens on ABC Season 1, Episode 1, entitled 1999. Let's get into it. If you enjoy reviews, then go check out my review channel, Wes the Critic. You will only get reviews on that particular channel. A Connection TV is an amalgamation of sorts, okay? There's so much thrown into the pot on A Connection TV. So if reviews are what you so like, then definitely subscribe to Wes the Critic. Link is in the bio. So, created by Zahir McGee, Queens is the musical drama about women in hip-hop that we didn't realize we needed. Not only does it emphasize the importance of sisterhood in rap, the storyline subtly weaves hip-hop feminist ideologies in a way that empowers its women viewers. Academic hip-hop scholars Aisha Durman, Brittany Cooper, and Susanna Morris see hip-hop feminism as a generationally specific articulation of feminist consciousness. So far within the show, it is hip-hop feminism that allows the members of the Nasty Bitches to call out the problematic and misogynistic ways of rap culture and industry while also unapologetically taking on their pro-sex group. Okay, let's try this one more time. So far within the show, it is hip-hop feminism that allows the members of the Nasty Bitches to call out the problematic and misogynistic ways of rap culture and industry while also unapologetically taking on their own pro-sex group name, Nasty Bitches. Who are the Nasty Bitches, you ask? Well, we have Brianna, aka Professor Sex, who's played by Eve, Jill, aka the Thrill, who's played by Notori Naughton, Valerie, aka Butter Pecan, who's played by Nadine Velasquez, and Naomi, aka Explicit Lyrics, who is played by Brandy. They make up the group. Now in their 40s, the women reunite to reignite the magic they once shared. That is an article written by Vulture. And yeah, let's get into it. That pretty much is what the show is about. Now, let's review episode 1. Let me pull up my notes because, you know, I'm into scripted television. I love movies. I love film. I produce original scripted content on my network, watchactv.com, which is like a miniature Netflix, a miniature black Netflix for the most part. So I feel like I have the ability to critique. You know, a lot of times I feel like if I had the budget that these shows had, what I would be putting out would be just groundbreaking, but I'm not there yet, God willing. Let's get there, right? So, Queens, right off the rip, I'm watching it with the eye of like, how is this gonna be? Is this gonna be a corny ass show? Is this going to be something that I feel belongs on Disney? Is this gonna be groundbreaking? Is this gonna be different? You know, because Eve, Notori Naughton, Brandy, they've been on television before. I don't really know Nadine all like that. I've never seen her before a day in my life. So I know what the other girls can give on television, but Nadine, then I'm looking at the casting and I'm like, is Brandy playing the same character she played on, you know, that last show that was on Fox? What was it called? It was not Empire. What was it called? Three Little Women? No, I don't know what that show was called. I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember. That's horrible. But she was on that show and I felt like from watching like the previews, I'm like, is she just playing that character again? Then Eve, I'm like, what is Eve gonna give? Because every time I see Eve, she's giving, you know, what the deal. And then Notori, I wasn't a fan of Power. I know I'm behind on that. Everybody loves Power, but I really wasn't a fan. And a couple clips that I saw her in, I was like, okay, what are we doing? So I was kind of skeptical watching it. I love Brandy down boots. Y'all already know I do. But at the same time, I was kind of like, you know. I've always felt like a lot of the artists that grew up in the 90s or were huge in the 90s, they tried to come back in a sense to recreate something magical and it just falls short a lot of the time, right? It does. No shade, but it does. And that's not me hating, because I love Eve and I love Brandy down boots, like I said. But either way, let's get into this, right? Because I'm watching it and I'm like skeptical, but I'm still watching it because I'm hoping that it could be successful. I'm hoping that it could be groundbreaking like Empire was, right? 1999. Cool. We see the infamous music video. Cool. But we don't play the whole music video because there's like this split montage between seeing where they were and seeing where they are now. I wasn't a fan of this edit. I thought the edit was a bit choppy to me, and it was screwing up my mind, not allowing me to connect to the women. I feel like, honestly, what would have been great if we would have either A, watched the entire music video and then went back into time, or just went back, or then went to current time, or just stayed in current time and then saw flashes of what they used to give. Because going back and forth was really like choppy for me. So I was a bit disconnected in the beginning of this. But we were introduced to Professor Sex, aka Brianna, who has a ton of kids, 5 kids, beautiful husband, classic black actor, can't remember his name, but always in some black stuff, which was great. Then we get the thrill with Jill, and you know, the fact that she's having an affair, because she's like, sorry father for I have sinned, going through all of that. Okay, then we get Butter Pecan, and I'm not getting like realistic interpretation from this Nadine person. Like, I'm getting, you know, I was hired because I was cute, right? That's what I'm getting from the jump. I'm getting that from the jump. First impressions, right? So I was like, nah. And then we get explicit lyrics. And no, then we get E-Rock, the manager, who is classic cute black man, cool. Then we get explicit lyrics. And I'm like, okay, I already know B-Rock. I already know what she can give. And I already love Brandy, so Brandy can't really do no wrong. But I'm not really necessarily vibing with the Naomi character either. So at this point, at this particular point in the beginning, the only character that I'm vibing with thus far is Eve's character. But I will say, like, immediately when we go from the music video to the current time, cinematography amazing. The show looks expensive. The budget is there. And you can see how this show is filmed versus how other shows are filmed. Like the have and the have-nots. Stark difference, right? And I'm here for the quality because that's what I want these women to give and have. I want them to be all about the quality, right? ABC, y'all better do it. So I was here for it. I was like, all right, this is giving me grown and sexy. I'm getting Blackish quality. I'm getting quality period from this. Let me get into it. Minus the choppy editing in the beginning. It was very disconnecting. I wasn't able to vibe with the characters. And at this point, I'm only vibing with Eve, right? So, we get this little quick reel of them breaking up. Something happened. Naomi was in love. She lost the love of her life to Valerie, and now she's upset. The group was broken up. I just was like, huh? Like, I was like, what are we doing here? Okay. And then it was 20 years past, so it's like they didn't age at all. They all look the same. So that was kind of confusing to me too. I mean, you change within 20 years. Even I have changed in 20 years. I mean, I look better, but you changed in 20 years. So the fact that they just looked the same and it was just from edit to edit, I was kind of like, okay. Brianna goes out to buy lingerie and she comes home to find her man cheating with one of his students. And to be honest, I loved how this scene went in terms of like the acting. Eve has not skipped a beat. I'm loving Eve's character. I'm thinking that all of these artists' names are a bit corny, but I'm loving Eve's character. I'd rather say Brianna than Professor Sex, right? She gets into her lingerie. Her man has been wanting some sex. They haven't been having sex. They have 5 kids though, so it's been there. And, you know, he mentions that he needs to go get checked and they're waiting for the results or whatever the case may be. So we're known that we're made aware that something is potentially wrong with this man, right? But he wants some sex and she ain't really been in that headspace. So she get the lingerie. She comes out the bathroom. It's in red. She's looking pretty. She walks in and dude is with one of his students. The response was not the classic black woman response, which is fine. But I was kind of like, huh? Like, okay, this is different. Not like, oh, this is different, terrible, but like, wow, this is different and refreshing maybe. She's not responding the way that you would think a typical woman would respond if her husband is in their house, in their bedroom, fornicating with the help. And it was interesting the take that they took with that. I'll just leave it at that. Jill doesn't want to have kids. We see her sitting on the toilet. She's testing, using this app where she's testing her urination, her pee, and the app is like, you're fertile, but she doesn't want to have kids. She has a husband waiting in the bed. She comes out and lies to her husband about not being fertile or whatever, and the husband is, you know, caring and concerning and like, oh, it'll be fine. We'll be able to have some kids. She goes into the next room and there's this chick that walks in by the name of Dana. They caressing and kissing each other. And this is a moment where I felt disjointed and disconnected, right? Maybe it's because it's ABC. I don't know. But it felt like Jill was not really here for kissing Dana. Even though they were in the same house, I just was like, I didn't feel the connection. I didn't feel the vibe there. And so I was kind of like, I don't buy it, right? I don't buy it. I don't know if it's what Naturi was supposed to give. I don't know if it was what Jill, but then in my mind, I'm thinking that Jill is comfortable with her friend when no one else is around. Why am I not connected to this love situation here? I just wasn't connected, right? That was a bit perplexing to me to watch that. And in my mind, I'm like, maybe it's because it's on ABC. And I wasn't expecting them to bone and Jones, but like the kiss didn't connect. It was kind of like, like I was like, I don't know what that was. Naomi goes to visit her daughter named JoJo. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking the girl coming to the door is going to be like some young little tenderoni. She wasn't. She looked like she was of age, way past of age. And maybe she had the baby 20 years ago, so maybe now the girl is 20. I don't know. I can't recall what the age was of the girl. But she looked too grown to be having like balloons in the background and like this party atmosphere going on or whatever. And Brandy just standing at the door like, hey, it's a year later. I came to say hey, because it's your birthday. JoJo came and gave her a piece of her mind and was like, I'm not here for nothing of what you offering. Closed the door in her face. I wasn't really feeling this moment here. I don't know. It just wasn't, I wasn't connected. I wasn't engaged, right? Then we get into Valerie. She's a professional. She's good at what she does. In this moment, I'm sold on to Nadine, right? So as I'm watching the episode, I'm sold on Eve. Jill didn't do it for me with the gay aspect. I wasn't here for it. The 25-year-old daughter looking JoJo, I wasn't here for that bit either. We moved to Nadine, and I'm here now. I'm like, okay, what is she giving? She's giving Devil Wears Prada. She's giving I'm sexier than thou. She's giving I'm about to do what I need to do to get on top vibes. I'm here for Nadine Velasquez. Remember this, I've never seen her before. So I was here for her performance. Okay, we get past that. We go back to Brianna, aka Eve, and she's at the dinner table with her cheating husband and all her 17 kids. And I was wondering when she was gonna crack, but she did crack. She's smashing the potatoes down, showing that she's upset at the fact that her husband is cheating. And in their house, mind you. Like, what are we talking about? And so she gets up, she walks away from the situation. She goes in the car, she hears their song on the radio. It's Bait by E-Rock, the manager, to get all the girls to come back to try to regroup and reconnect in this new era of music. Everybody's asking what happened to the Nasty Bras. Where are they now? At this moment in the episode, I'm still feeling like this is moving way too fast. Like, I'm not getting enough opportunity to connect with with all the girls as a whole. I've connected with Nadine and I've connected with Eve. But the other two I feel disjointed from. And it's just chop, 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 edit, chop, 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 edit. That's how I'm feeling. When all the girls come back together, I feel the group. When all the girls are rehashing their energy and what happened in the past, I'm here for all of it. I'm here for the moment, right? I'm sold into all four women. I see their personalities, and they're very stark and different. And that's where the acting shines. That's where the writing shines. There's not choppy editing, and I'm able to indulge in what they want me to see at this point. Because it's not like they come back together, chop, they come back together, chop, 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 flashback, chop, right? Like the beginning was. So I'm here, I'm invested. Nasty broads are back. Are we gonna come back together or no? Nah, because Brandy got a problem with Nadine because they slept with the same man. Classic storyline in my mind, but I'm like, how is this gonna unravel and unwrap itself? Because I don't want this to be what Nadine and Brandy is focused on. Not now, like I'm hoping that this not what this whole show is gonna be about. Cause he cute, but he ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? So we move past that, and we find out that Brianna's husband has a tumor, right? And so now Brianna has to go back to the house to, like, you know, be there for her husband because they're technically still married. And in my mind, I'm like, so? Like, the only people that I'm really caring and concerned about are the kids at this point. I care about the husband, but not too much. We've been together for a while, but no, like, not too much, right? So her response to the tumor is where I would have been. And, you know, she goes home, but they still have this thing. Like, she has this unresolved thing within her where she's like, I don't really care, and I'm not about to do this, and you are not about to make me do this, and, you know, F you anyway, and so I'm moving on, and you can sleep on the couch, B. Okay. The girls come back together to try to understand each other, and I'm vibing every moment that the girls are together. At this point, I'm still feeling a little disjointed by how we got here, but Nadine ends up losing her job, and she ends up needing to be back with the girls anyway, because in the beginning she was like, I don't care, I'm not joining y'all, y'all need me, I don't need y'all, I'm out. Well, she loses her job, and so she goes back and she's like, I love y'all, can we be back together? And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. But that's how it works on the show. They have this little back and forth. Brandy says, you still owe me an apology. Nadine apologizes, and they come back together. The show was kind of on a tilt for me until Lauren, Miss Lil Muffin, was introduced. The lady that plays her, for me, saved the entire episode because her character just felt fresh. It felt new. It felt authentic. It felt real. I connected to her as soon as she hit my screens. So I was like, all right, let me keep watching this because she gonna bring all of them together in my mind. Like, Lil Muffin, you know, Lauren, she gonna bring them all together. And that's exactly what she did. Muffin ends up having this, you know, issue with drugs or whatever, and Jill character ends up bringing her back to existence because the girls ends up going to a party that she's throwing and she overdoses. But they bring her back, and it's because of Lauren that they end up making it at the end of the episode, where they end up performing on her show set for the BET Awards. A lot to cover, but for the first episode, I feel like I'm wanting more. I feel like if by episode 3, if 2 and episode 3 are just like episode 1, I'm gonna be tapped out. Because I feel like episode 1 was a bit rushed, and they were trying to get me to buy into what they were offering. And there were moments where I was getting it. Every time the women come together, I'm here. I'm not vibing with Jill's storyline and her being gay and needing to come out the closet, and she's a church woman and she's struggling with that. I'm not I'm not saying that that's not what happens, but I'm not buying it from Notori. I'm just not. Not right now, anyway. Brandy's storyline, I feel like Brandy's storyline has been done before for me, and I feel like I've seen Brandy in this character before. So I really, to be honest, I really would have loved Brandy to have been Nadine. I think if Brandy was Nadine, for me, first episode now, again, this is first episode. It might change throughout the season. But first episode, if Brandy was Nadine's character, I felt like that would have been dope. And they literally could have switched. They could have kept explicit lyrics and Butter Pecan, because Brandy doing Butter Pecan's rap, I wasn't here for none of it. Like, Brandy's rap was what Brandy needed to be given, but Brandy's character should have been Nadine's character, and Nadine should have been the mom with the issues. That would have been cute. Or Nadine should have been Jill. I'm just saying, Natari could have been Brandy's character, and Brandy should have been Nadine's character. That's how I feel about it. Eve is playing a role she need to be playing. I feel her. As soon as Eve came on the screen, I was here for everything. I was. Then when Nadine came on, I was like, all right, I'm not feeling the rap, but I'm feeling her role. Like, her role was dope. Then Brandy, I'm feeling Brandy, but Jill is last for me. And I'm not really coming down on the ladies, but I feel like first episode, expectations are high. I feel like, again, if those roles were reversed the way that I just said that they should have been, episode 1 would have sold more to me, and I would be like duly looking forward to episode 2 and episode 3. I still am. And the show that I was referencing before was Star. I don't know why I said Three Little Women, but I know why I said that, but still, I feel like episode 1 was a little appetizer. I need 2 and 3 to give me the full course meal. So I'm going to watch it because I want all 4 women to be successful. Brandy is in this. I want her to be successful. Eve is in this. I want her to be successful. The moment where Eve and Brandy had their little cipher where everybody was doing what they would call a freestyle, I was here for Brandy all day long, and I was here for Eve all day long. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts about it? Like, right now, would I give Queens a worth it rating for episode 1? Episode 1 is not a worth it rating for me. It's an eye, but it's not a worth. It's eye. Like, I would watch it. Okay, let me switch that up. Would I give it a gnaw? No, I wouldn't give it a gnaw. I wouldn't give it a gnaw. I will put it more so towards the worth it because I'm curious to see what the rest of the season is going to give. That's what I would give it. I would give it a worth it, but I'm curious to see what the rest of the season is going to give. Because now that we've gotten rid of the choppiness of the editing and force feeding the storylines down our throat, shoving everything so compact in this first episode, maybe episode 2, episode 3, now that we know the women, now that we know the ladies, we can move on, and I could see acting, I could see story, cinematography, sound, music, A1. But the characters aren't all believable. They're not. I'm not believing Jill, and I'm not here for Naomi. I'm really not. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think, and let me know what you think about this particular episode. And I'll be doing the reviews on my channel, so look forward to those reviews of Queens. Hey, shout out. Shout out to all the ladies. Great job with the music. Great job with the cinematography. Great job with the production. I wished that the 3 ladies, Natari, Nadine, and Brandy, could have switched roles. I think that would be better. No, it's not a handicap to their acting because their acting is on point. But as far as what I feel visually fits them, I just see it the way that I said that it should have been done. But anyways, I'm still going to watch episode 2, episode 3, and I'm looking forward to it. I will give this series again a worth it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Deuces! I know. Y'all not about to think about not subscribing to aconnectiontv.com. Copyrighted.